Guys, go check out our channel sponsor, AutoKeyCars.com. They just got restocked and they have something there for you. No, guys, I know picking on it's like picking on a retarded kid, man. It really is. But I'm trying to prove the point. I'm trying to get it down. So I'm wanting to open people's minds up to see the truth. This right here is what people are following each and every day, believing it is correct. And this is why this country is going down the toilet. It is the plastic patriot who is actually the enemy. That's why this country is going down the toilet. It doesn't have anything to do with government. Government's doing what government does. Nancy Pelosi's doing what Nancy Pelosi's supposed to do. The founding fathers told us that. We're failing to do what we are supposed to do. Why? Because the vast majority of the population is as ignorant as this person is about what rights actually are and what the Constitution actually is, and especially what the Second Amendment actually is. Here it is.
What they're trying to do here is they're trying to get rid of anything over 10 rounds.
And why wouldn't they? I mean, if you were my enemy and you were coming to fight me, I'd be trying to get rid of all your tools too. Duh. Just give it time. 10 rounds is going to be the least of your worries. They're coming after your single shot 22 LRs. Guarantee it. Might not be in your lifetime, but it's coming. That's the way that's what government does. The men who founded the country told us this. They warned us about it. They told you this government will become tyrannical. It is your job to keep it in check. We failed.
I talked to a friend of mine who's a police officer today, and he called me up. He goes, man, this stuff's going around, and people are freaking out because it's illegal. Half of the stuff is unbelievable, and it's illegal. But you watch. These dumbasses will try to pass this stuff.
Well, in this short little segment, Kotaboy said a lot. Number one, he's friends with the police officer. So he is friends with somebody that violates individuals' rights. Why does he's friends with this person? Because he doesn't understand the truth, the truism, that the violation of one individual's rights is a violation to all individuals' rights. He believes since his friend, the police officer, is good to him, that then he is a good police officer. And that's why he supports the police. And it's all illegal because the only law is the Constitution. And we were pretty clear in the Second Amendment, the last little part of the Second Amendment, shall not be infringed. That even means by your buddy, the police officer. They're freaking out because they're ignorant cowards. Number one, they don't know the Constitution. Number two, they don't know the restriction on government. Number three, they will not stand for anything. That's why they are freaking out. They are cowards. And when they do eventually pass it, and they will, who's going to enforce it, Mr. Kotaboy? Surely not your good friend, the police officer. Surely not. That's because, we know that they don't enforce like laws like prohibited persons, as an example. Yes, the police are the problem.
And that's a constant push. Oh, it's a weapon of war. Well, anything is a weapon of war, but is what they don't get, which is the interesting.
Nope, it's not interesting at all. And yes, they do get it. Why would they want you to have anything you could go to war and possibly beat them with during that war? They wouldn't.
This shit's really scary. That the people, Sheila Jackson Lee, can just jump on the board, Google the EU gun ban, and that sounds like a great idea. And Mom Demand Action Now, and I guess I guarantee Bloomsburg and Every Town for Newtown had a little bit to do with writing that entire thing, and they always do.
What's equally scary is that you're more concerned with what they're trying to do versus who was trying to stop it or not trying to stop it in this case, which should be us, you, me, them, the people. It is our job to enforce the Constitution. The very men that founded this government told us what it would do. They also told us it would be our job to keep it in check, and we are failing miserably because instead of educating people, we are dumbing people down further and further. What is scary is cognitive dissonance. That is what is scary. You see the problem, you know the problem. You can even research and find out more about the problem if you don't know what the problem is. Yet you can be told the problem in your case. I have told you the problem. I have pointed out all the facts. Yet you still refuse to accept it. Cognitive dissonance.
Isn't that the beauty of our country? We do have some protections. It's called the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment is a God-given right that was given to you.
And we see the problem. We have somebody with a big enough voice that they could change the country through the people they know and the videos that they make. Yet they are dumbing the dumb down by telling them that the Second Amendment is their right. The Second Amendment is your right that God gave you. God gave you the Second Amendment. No, God gave you the natural right to keep and bear arms to protect yourself, community, county, state, even country, if you feel the need to. The Second Amendment is the people's restriction on government. It's right here. It's circled. You see? That's the Second Amendment. That is not the right. The right is within me. It is mine. And nothing can take it away from us. But in Kotaboy's case, with the cognitive dissonance, he believes that government, he believes that he is free, but he also believes that government has the authority to create laws that will rule over him that will then be enforced by the police. But yet he's friends with the police. Where do you stand, Kotaboy? I really want to know, where do you stand? Because you still, to this day, continue to dumb down the people that watch your channel. And by this point, you've had to take note of what I've said to you, and I've said it to you clearly. It's about educating people. We do not educate the people, we will lose this war. Yet you continue to dumb them down. And what's going to happen over a long enough period of time, on a long enough timeline, the people will get it in their head, like Kotaboy already has, that the Second Amendment is the right. And when they repeal the Second Amendment, and they eventually will, they will then believe they no longer have that right, because the Second Amendment no longer exists. Our God-given Second Amendment's gone.
It's just like freedom of speech, but they want to take that away from us with some kind of truth czar to try to decide what is feasible for you, the public, to listen to. That's the stuff that really chaps my rear end.
Take it away. They can't take it away. But what they can do is they can instill so much fear in you that you refuse to speak freely, or you refuse to exercise your right to keep and bear arms. And who would enforce these laws, Kotaboy, can I ask? If this bill was to pass, who would enforce it? Don't say the police forces wouldn't, because they already enforce laws just like this. Those laws just don't affect you yet. They affect everybody else, but not you, and that's why you still have friends that are on the police force.
Germany doesn't have a Second Amendment. Neither does Canada, and you see what that led to them.
What led Canada and Germany to where they're at is the people are unwilling to stand up for their natural rights. It had nothing to do with what was written down on a damn piece of parchment. Force. That's the only thing that will protect your rights. Force. Bitching and moaning, screaming and hollering, pointing at the left, blaming Nancy Pelosi or Sheila Jackson Lee or whoever you want to blame isn't going to change a damn thing. Force, Kotaboy. That is it. Enforcing the Constitution.
Talking about Canada, that jackass up there, Blair, the guy who is their safety director, he basically came out and said it. Owning a gun is a privilege, not a right. He's full of shit.
Put your money where your mouth is, Kotaboy. Make a public statement stating that you support the right of the mentally ill and felons and domestic abusers owning firearms. Put your money where your mouth is, bud.
This is a global thing. They want to make us a global, I don't know, sit down and the whole thing just irritates me.
I guess you thought the New World Order was some made up shit. Conspiracy theory, right? There, Kotaboy. And irritates you. Should make you fighting fucking mad that these bastards want to sit up there, create laws that infringe on our rights, not your rights, our rights, and then execute those laws through the police forces that you are friends with and you support.
These individuals, they want to be globalists, they want to be socialist, and they think that this is a great idea. We, the people, control the government, not the government controlling the people. We've stated this before.
You stated it before. You stated it before. Then why'd you make this video, Kota? You stated it before. Apparently they should listen, right? Just because you've stated it before. They don't understand words. They understand force. A law without force is a pointless law. The Constitution is the law. When we say we are a land of laws or a nation of laws, the laws are the Constitution. You see, you've interpreted it into your police badge-loving head, boot-licking head, that laws means government's laws and the people. We are a nation of government's laws and the people. No, that's not what it is. And socialism, they want to be socialist. Dude, socialism's been here for a century, and you're just now seeing it? Socialism is on its way out, and communism's fucking pushing in right now. They're pushing us into communism. You guys are way behind times here. You need to catch up. You know, when I started doing this, I didn't have anybody telling me anything. I had to research all this stuff for myself. every bit of it. You've had me in your ear for over 2 years now, giving you the pointers, pointing stuff out. And this one, like when I mentioned the Act of 1871 to you, you just pass it off like you know everything. I hate to be the one to tell you, but you don't know dick. You're as much an enemy to freedom and rights as Sheila Jackson Lee is, because you dumb down every person that hears your voice.
Having the ability to protect your loved ones and your property is utmost, and also having the ability to protect yourself from a tyrannical government.
Do you think Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden or maybe Kamala Harris is going to get all kitted out together, come kick in your fucking front door there, kiddo boy? Who do you think it's going to be? Who's this tyrannical government you talk about, protecting yourself from? You going to go to Washington, D.C. and protect yourself from Nancy Pelosi? No. You're going to be doing it from your front doorstep, fighting thugs with badges on that have been told to follow out an order, and they will, as they always have. You still don't continue to care about what they're doing now because it doesn't affect you, as I just mentioned a minute ago. You don't care about that they arrest the felon and throw him in prison for life for doing nothing more than bearing arms, even when they're not committing a crime. Or the mentally ill that you don't believe should have the right to keep and bear arms, because you don't know what a right actually is. You care about the firearm. The firearm is the right in your mind, which makes you an enemy of the right itself, unfortunately.
And ladies and gentlemen, there will come a time when we will have to make a stand. I hope it's not in my lifetime, but I have a feeling that I don't want my children growing up just like they did down there in Venezuela.
And who exactly are you going to take a stand against there, Coda Boy? Who? I mean, I'm really curious to know. If it isn't the police because they're your friends and you support them in each and every one of your videos at the end, you have friends that are the police, who is it that you're going to have to take a stand against? Please tell me. And you hope it doesn't happen in your lifetime. What, you want to pass it off onto your kids? You want your kids to be in that fight? What, you ain't man enough to do it? You want your kids to do it? Think about that.
But here's the deal. The Second Amendment is our right given to us by our founding fathers and God. It is presented to us to prevent a government overtake.
You just heard it. He said it himself right then and there. He has no clue what right is. Number one, our founding fathers didn't give us our right. They created the restriction upon which government has to operate in order to have our consent to govern us. Or we will press lethal force if we must in order to protect ourselves. And it's not only to fight off a tyrannical government. That is what the restriction is for. The restriction says, hey, government, you have to operate within these boundaries or we're going to fuck you up. The right is to protect me, my family, my community, my town, my county, my state. I have a natural right to keep and bear arms. You have a natural right to keep and bear arms. We all have this natural right. But the policing forces that you support, that you're about to support here in a second, yes, I'm going to show that too, are the core of the problem. They enforce every unconstitutional law the government has ever enacted. Every last one has been enforced by someone with a badge on.
Kills me. Always end them like this. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Support the red, white, and blue. God bless America. God bless those men, women in uniform who will stand by us when the time comes.
What he really means to say is support the cops who I hope will stand by me when they create laws that infringe upon my personal effects. Screw that guy over there, though. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool if they infringe on his rights because that doesn't affect me. See, Coda Boy doesn't understand. No matter how many times you tell him, not whether it be in email, text, on the phone, that an infringement to one individual's rights is an infringement on all individuals' rights. See, he doesn't believe that the mentally ill, for example, have the right to keep and bear arms. That's because he has no idea what a right actually is. When I told him the person sitting in jail has the right to keep and bear arms, he didn't understand it. Why didn't he understand it? Because he doesn't know our Constitution. He doesn't know what we allowed or we didn't allow. And when exactly, again, Coda Boy, is it that where are these people at that are going to stand with you? Huh? Where they at? They're not standing with you now. There, why don't you go to California and take that AR of yours and see how well they're standing with you there, bud? Let's do a little beta test here and see what happens.
Support our Constitution and our Bill of Rights as it was understood and written by our founding fathers. There's no misinterpretation there that shall not be infringed.
There is misinterpretation there, buddy, for the same reason you misinterpreted it. You interpreted it as you have the right to own a firearm, but not that scary mentally ill person over there, not that scary felon over there. They don't have that. They've lost that right, which makes it a privilege if it can be lost. You will never get it, ever. And unfortunately, you just keep dumbing down the masses. You could change the country. With your reach, who you know, and the amount of people that hear your voice every day, you could change the country. Instead, you're just a wolf in sheep's clothing, man. You're exactly what you claim to be against.